welcome to the live. Today we're going to be talking about why you are challenged to have your breakthrough. If you're ready for that, someone throw in the chat the word ready. If you're ready for that, someone throw in the chat the word ready. Because in today's live, we're going to be talking about why so many people are resisting their own breakthrough, even though they don't even know that that's what they are doing. So if you're excited about that, just write in the chat the words I am as we jump into today's session and unpack what we have to share with you. With that being said, first and foremost, let me ask you the question as we usually do to start the session, and that is, where are you tuning in from in today's live? Let me know inside of the chat. Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Are you in Mother Africa? Are you in the Caribbean? Are you in the north or south of the Korean? Let me know inside of the chat where you are joining the live from, because wherever you're joining the live from, first and foremost, let me share a great big warm welcome to you on today's live. Today's live, we're going to be breaking down a few things, talking about where you are stopping yourself from having your breakthrough. If that's of interest to you, just write me in the chat. If that's of interest to you, just write me in the chat. And for those of you who are jumping in, feel free to say hello, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are tuning in from. Good afternoon. If there's anyone in the world who could be in the afternoon right now, feel free to let us know where you're tuning in from, and feel free to share your welcomes as well, because it's a great pleasure to be able to welcome you guys into what we are about to do. We're going to be unpacking a whole bunch of stuff. So again, guys, let me know inside of the chat where you tuning in from. Are you in the UK? Are you in the US of A? Are you in Australasia? Are you in Asia? Are you in Mother Africa? Let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know. And we are going to go. Now, first and foremost, what I want to share is this. I'm going to most likely forget if I don't say it now, so I'm going to say it now. If at any point throughout this live you hear something that stands out to you, feel free to hit the like button side by side with that inside of the chat. If there's any point throughout this session that a light bulb goes off, feel free to share inside of the chat so we can also see the light bulbs that you guys are getting. We have user 0737242000 who says, I'm in the Netherlands right now. Great big welcome from the Netherlands. Netherlands, let me know user what the time is over there in the Netherlands. I'm assuming that you're 1 hour or maximum 2 hours away from the UK, so you're probably around midnight right now. Let me know if that's correct. Let me know if that's correct. Let me know if that's correct. And for everyone else who's jumping in, you know what to do. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know how you are doing, so we can jump into today's session. Now, we're gonna get straight into today's session because I wanna really start unpacking stuff as quick as possible and adding value as quick as possible to you in order to get this thought process through you so you can utilize it, so you can have the rest of your life being the best of your life. So first and foremost, guys, welcome to the session. Now, with that being said, let's jump straight in. I once heard, it was a number of years ago now, I once heard the prolific author, leadership expert, Dr. John C. Maxwell make a very profound statement. And he said that the biggest obstacle to your next success is actually your last success. And that specific statement had me going, well, wait, what? Okay, had me going, wait, what? User 0737242800. Let me know what your name is so I can greet you formally and welcome you to the live, because you are here at 1:45. Let's go, all right? So I heard John Maxwell say this a number of years ago. John Maxwell said the biggest obstacle to your next success is very often, most of the time, if not all of the time, your past success. And at the time, I was like, wait, what? I couldn't get it. I couldn't understand it. Welcome, Dean, to the live. I couldn't understand it. Like, in my mind, that doesn't make sense. How can your last success be your biggest obstacle to your next success? Let me even ask you guys, if you guys understand that, right? I don't know if that's the first time you're hearing it from me sharing it, but if you can understand that statement, that quote, let me know in the chat what that means to you. Because I remember I was hearing this at roughly the age of 21. This must have been 19 years ago. I heard this statement: the biggest obstacle to your next success is actually your last success. And I couldn't get it. First and foremost, I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't see how that could be. And as a result, it puzzled me. And it puzzled me for a number of years. A number of years I thought on this thing. A number of years this thing would just come back up to my mind. The sentence, my mind would find a way to find. And one day I just said to myself, I get it. Like, I actually get it. I get how when you write a book, sometimes you say to yourself, I've written a book. And the statement that you make, telling yourself you've written a book, stops you from investigating or taking a further look. If someone knows what I'm talking about, just write in the comments, I do. So this is what I started to realize. This is what I started to experience. This is what I started to recognize, that John C. Maxwell, leadership expert, was right. And the biggest obstacle to your next success can often be actually your last success. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about that in your work. I want you to take a moment and potentially think about that in your relationships. I want you to take a moment and think about that possibly in the area of your health. And then take another second, take another moment and think about that in the area of your wealth. And I want you to think about whether it can be the case for you, just like I realized it could have been the case for me. Dean says, I think the biggest obstacle is moving on from the feeling of your last achievement. I love that. I love that because that is so akin to the thing that John C. Maxwell was saying. It's so simple that oftentimes we achieve a level of success and it stops us from profoundly producing a new level of success. I remember when I studied the last master's that I studied, my master's in teaching. I remember going through that degree. I remember I took the degree part-time whilst I worked full-time. And I believe I started in 2013, completed in 2016. So that was a 3-year process of that specific degree. And what was interesting is prior to studying my master's in teaching, a few years before that, I had studied my master's in statistics and I had failed. And the master's in statistics were at the time, 2008 to 2009, I studied full time. So it was my fully fledged focus, but I failed. And when I then did, years later, my master's in teaching part-time, I found that I passed. And what was interesting to me, the thing I was able to see was when I finished the master's in statistics, I was hungry. Someone write in the chat the word hungry. I was hungry, okay? I was hungry to actually go and complete my master's degree. I was hungry. Why? Maybe because I failed. But when I completed my master's in teaching, oh my gosh, someone's ready for this. When I completed my master's in teaching, one of the things that was extremely interesting to me was the fact that I didn't have the zeal, I didn't have the hunger, someone write in the chat the word hunger, I didn't have the hunger to go and pursue the other educational endeavors that were of interest to me at the time. And I want you to think about it for a moment. I want you to ask yourself for a moment, have there been times where you've achieved a level of success, whatever it is, it may be a large success, maybe a small success, but that success stopped you from taking on the next level of success that you desire to have? If that's you, just write me in the chat. If anyone's been in that situation, if anyone's inside of that situation, feel free to write the word me in the chat. And this includes those of you in the back. Those of you who are thinking to yourself, you know what, that's me, but I don't really want to write a comment in the chat. Guys, take this opportunity and let me know. Write the word me in the chat if that's you as well, okay? Because this happens again and again in our lives. We achieve a level of success and we allow that level of success to cause us to plateau before going to the next level that we can to grow. And the reason why this happens is because many times we don't have a model for our growth. We don't have a model for our development. So you may be working a job, a J-O-B, as many of my coaches have said to me in the past, a jump out of bed to get on the journey of the broke so you can stay just over broke. You might be working in that kind of an environment. And as you work in that kind of environment, one of the things you might find is that for some time you have a zeal, for some time you have an interest, for some time you have the energy to go, 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 go. But after a while, you start to go slow, 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 slow. And you ask yourself, how comes I'm slowing down? How comes I'm not as aggressive about the next promotion? How comes I'm not as aggressive about the next opportunity? For those of you who've been working with me in a while, for quite a while, you know that we focus on property investment to generate revenue and replace income. So it might be the same situation. You might build a portfolio, 4, 8, 9, 10 properties, and then say to yourself, nah, you know what, I just don't have the energy to keep going. I remember speaking at one point to a close colleague of mine. This gentleman is by profession a mortgage broker. This gentleman literally has a double-digit multi-million pound property portfolio. And I remember speaking to him one night late, and he says to me, he says, Samuel, you know what? I just don't have that fire that I used to have to go and do property. And I said something to him that shifted his world so much that after that conversation, he went on to buy a block of flats, a whole block of flats. It was the first block of flats he ever bought, okay? And the interesting thing I said to him, I said, you know, the situation that you're facing is because you're not who you are now that you were then. The person you were before, who was hungry, zealous, fiery, buying property after property, that person, that individual was the person who was starting a family. That person, that individual was a person with young children. But you see who you are now. Now you're grown up. Now you've got responsibilities. Now you're thinking about whether you should keep the children in the private school or not. Now you've got all these other things going on, percolating around your mind, circulating. And now's the time that you're actually second guessing / questioning whether you should continue doing what you were doing before. If someone understands what I'm talking about, just write in the chat, I do. Because this is what happens to me. This is what can also equally happen to you. Sometimes in life, we get into predicaments, we get into situations, we get into scenarios, we get into settings where we start to realize, hold on a minute, I thought I had the zeal, I thought I had the fire, but for some reason, I'm just not allowing myself to break through. So this is what we're going to be talking about in today's live. We're going to be talking about how you can make sure you get the breakthrough, even though the biggest barrier to your breakthrough might only actually even just be you. So if someone's ready for that, just write the word me in the chat and we're going to jump right in. Now, after hearing that sentence from John C. Maxwell, that the biggest barrier to our next success is very often our last success, it made me realize a few things. It made me realize that I didn't want my success to stop my success. Now, what's interesting is even when you make that statement in that way, it makes you realize, hold on a minute, is that something we can actually say? My success to stop my success? Yes. Because there's a level of success that you can achieve in your current present state, and there's another level of success which you have to go outside of your present current state in order to achieve. This is why it's often said that all growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Because when we extend ourselves, when we expand ourselves outside of our comfort zone, we go into the place where we can receive some new grace. We get into the place where we can start to do what we couldn't do before when we were the previous you. So this is the key. This is the reason why we have to get to a place sometimes where we recognize, hold on a minute, I don't want to be stuck where I was before. Maybe that's why the time is coming up. Because we're literally timing how long you can do what you were doing before. So the key is to actually work with a great understanding of how things work. And that's what's going to set you up for success. So as I was getting ready for today's live, one of the things that came to my mind was some of the stuff we spoke about in the last live we were on. In the last live we were on, we were talking about why your miracle doesn't come through. And specifically, I was giving you guys some examples as I shared with you about the difference between wisdom and principles. And that was a great kind of foundation for many of you guys to start seeing, okay, I get it now. This is the actual issue. The issue is I've been waiting on a miracle, but I need to start working my wisdom. Now, the process of what we're talking about right now is very, very similar. The process which is stopping many people from achieving what they desire to achieve is very, very similar. So this is what we're going to be breaking down in today's session. Now, if you're ready for us to break it down, throw the word ready in the chat because we're going to break it down. Now, in order to break it down, I'm gonna have to start by showing you a very simple diagram. This is a diagram of a process of learning that I discovered a number of years ago, which has helped me move further faster in my future. It's helped me do that in my relationships, with my primary relationship with my wife. It's helped me do that with my relationship with my children. It's assisted me to do that in wealth creation. It's assisted me to do that in my property investments. It's assisted me to do that in other investment endeavors. It's assisted me to do this across the whole landscape. And it's literally just a 3-part formula. It's actually a 4-part formula, but you don't have to do the 4th part because the 4th part is on autopilot, right? Someone write in the chat the word autopilot. And these are the kind of formulas I like the best, the ones where at least some of the formula is on autopilot. So guess what? You get to leverage, you get to put in the energy into maybe part 1, 2, and 3, but you get the benefit of part 4 through means of autopilot, right? So if you're taking notes, you might want to write that down. There's autopilot at work in this process, all right? So let's break this down. This is how this works. Most people in life desire in some way, shape, or form to earn some form of result, okay? They want to produce some form of result. They want some form of outcome. They want to have some form of production or productivity. They desire something to come out of the work that they are putting in. So the endeavor and the interest and the focus is to begin to be able to earn. Someone write in the chat the word earn, okay? Now, what most people think is the journey to earn has one step before, okay? Let's do it this way, because this is what most people think. Most people think the journey to earn has one step before, and they think the step before is to learn, okay? And doesn't that make sense? Because, you know, you got the L extra here, right? It's just an extra L, guys. All I need is the extra L. If I can learn, maybe even through an L, those of you who know what I'm talking about, then I'll be able to earn, okay? But this is where the problem comes in, because this is what they teach in school. They teach in school, once you learn, you will earn. But here's the reality. As I often say to my friends, you can't use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes, okay? Now you might be sitting there thinking, Samuel, that's fresh. I've never heard that before. So let me explain it real quickly, right? You cannot use school tactics to produce non-school outcomes. So let's talk about some non-school outcomes, okay? When you go to school for a qualification. When you go to school, you do not go to school in order to have a form of transformation. Okay? Now, let me explain this. If you want to develop your finances, you want to go from the struggle bus to the thriving camp, you need a transformation. You don't need a qualification. If that's correct, someone let me know in the chat, right? Because what's happened for many of us is we've been hoodwinked into believing in order to get the outcomes we desire, the input is a qualification. And most of us are mature enough now, most of us are old enough now, most of us have had enough L's now to realize that qualifications don't produce the outcomes that many of us are looking for. Because what many of us are looking for is not a qualification, it's actually transformation. Now, you might be saying, Samuel, how can that be the case? Okay, let me give you an example inside of this place. One of the examples is the simple fact that some of the wealthiest individuals in the world do not have as many qualifications as some of the hardest workers in the world. Okay, I want you to think about that for a moment. How can that be the case? If qualifications equal transformation, then surely the people with the most qualification would have the outcomes with the highest level of transformation. If that makes sense, someone write in the chat, yes. So it's a simple equation to realize that qualification doesn't equal transformation. You want to transform your finances, you don't need a qualification. You want to transform your relationships, you don't need a qualification. You want to transform your health, you don't need a qualification. You want to transform your wealth, it's not about a qualification. It's about transformation. If someone's understanding this, just throw the letter T in the chat so I know you know what we're talking about. You see, we've been hoodwinked into believing that we need another qualification when what's actually missing is a simple transformation. Now, here's something I heard once before. I'm going to give you this. I don't even know if I should give you this. Talia, thank you ever so much for your tea. I don't know if I should give you this, but I'm going to give you this. I remember one of my coaches saying something so profound to me once. He said, Samuel, all transformation happens in an instant. What if that's true? Because I can tell you something that you know too. I can tell you that all qualifications do not happen in an instant. Is that correct? Someone let me know if that's correct or not. All qualifications do not happen in an instant. I remember studying my master's in statistics. That degree took me 2 years because I failed my exams the first year. That degree took me 2 years, from 2008 to 2010, studying at the University College of London. 2 years. Why? Because qualification, there is no qualifications that occur in an instant. But all transformation occurs in an instant. Oh, if so, guys, I love talking about transformation. If you want me to break down how transformation occurs in an instant, I can do that. If you want me to do it, just write in the chat, do it. If you don't, we keep it moving, right? But I want you to understand this, because this foundational underlying premise is a key essential element for you to understand where we're going. If you have said to yourself in the past, am I the barrier to my breakthrough? I'm here to tell you something. You just might be. Because you might have been convinced, just like me, that you desire a qualification, you need a qualification instead of you actually needing a form of transformation. Okay? So Tyler says, yeah, let's do it. All right, so let's do it. Okay, I didn't plan to do it, but let's do it, right? And those of you who have been on a live with me before, if I've taught on transformation, you may have seen me break this down before, right? If I'm gonna break it down, I'm gonna break it down really quick, right? So what are we talking about here? We're talking about the process of transformation. Transformation. Now, one of the things I love, I'm going to tell you this, right? One of the things I love is that God decided to set us up by giving us examples of everything he tells us, okay? So I want you to, if you're taking notes, I want you to write that down. I have got examples of everything I've been told, okay? I want you to think about that, right? There are examples for everything you've been told. There are examples for everything you've been told. There's nothing you have been told by the big man upstairs, as some people call him, where there is no example. So let me give you an example, the most beautiful example of transformation, okay? The most beautiful example of transformation starts with something that many of us know or call a caterpillar, okay? And guys, please forgive me if I don't spell properly. I'm trying to be quick, right? So we have this thing called a caterpillar. If someone knows what I'm talking about, just put yes in the chat so I know that we're in the same place, right? So we have this thing called a caterpillar. Now, a caterpillar does something very interesting, right? The caterpillar becomes or goes into what most people call a cocoon. And when it goes into this cocoon, it stays there for a period of time, doing a whole bunch of stuff. And in a moment, I'm going to tell you some of the stuff. And after it goes through the cocoon, the caterpillar rises and becomes the most beautiful, amazing, not always, but in this case of what I'm talking about, monarch butterfly. Okay? So what is this? I'm going to tell you what this is. This is the most beautiful example of transformation. If this is transformation, someone write in the chat, transformation. Let me know that you know this is a form of transformation. Now, remember what I said. Everything you've been told, the good Lord upstairs has already shown. So what does that mean? That means if I hear a lesson when I'm searching through the pages of the scripture, if I see something profound, when someone's talking about some things and I hear the sound, I get the ability, because the way the good Lord is so nice, to go and see the proof in the pudding. I get to go and see where he's already given an example to you. He's already given an example to me. Is someone excited about that? I don't know about you, but I get excited about that. Why? The reason I get excited about that, because it means that there's nothing he's gonna tell me. There's nothing he's gonna show me that I can't see proof that it was him who told me or him who showed me. So here's some proof. We have the most beautiful rendition of transformation. So let's talk about this. We have the caterpillar, which goes into the cocoon. From going into the cocoon, it becomes the beautiful butterfly. Okay? So if this is transformation, Someone tell me it is in the chat. If this is transformation, someone tell me it is. Because the moment you tell me it is, I'm now going to walk you through the process of transformation. And as I walk you through the process of transformation, here's what's going to happen. You are going to see the evidence that I started to see that all transformation occurs in an instant. And we all know that all qualification does not occur in an instant. Now, Samuel, what do you mean all qualification does not occur in an instant? Well, when I did my undergraduate degree, that took me 3. Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. When I studied my first master's degree, I failed my exams and had to go back, so that took me 2. Okay. When I studied my master's in teaching, I did it part-time. It took me 3 to get qualified, to get my qualification. Sometimes as I sit here, I share with you guys and I show you guys my dissertation. This is my dissertation, 2016, literally 10 years ago. Okay, I don't know if you're gonna see this. Let's see if you guys can get the, maybe we're gonna have to do this like this. Let's do this, if you guys can see this. Okay, that's not any better because the focus is all over here. All right, let's do it that way. Maybe you're gonna get it, okay? There you go. Master of Teaching, MTeach 2016, okay? That's me, okay? That took me 3 years part-time whilst working full-time as a teacher and a teacher trainer in order to have that qualification, okay? I want you to understand this. So qualifications take time. Transformation happens in an instant. Samuel, what do you mean transformation happens in an instant? Have you ever been in a seminar or listening to a sermon or even sitting down hearing a song and a line comes out from that sermon, a line comes out from that seminar, a line comes out from that song, and it hits you like a ton of bricks? It hits you and literally shares with you something that you may have been thinking about, something you may have been doubting about, something that may have just been moving about in your mind. If anyone's ever been in that situation, just write in the chat the word me. You're relaxing, chillaxing. And the guy in the seminar says this line and you say, wow, this guy has been reading my diary. You're sitting in a sermon and the guy on the pulpit says something and you're like, yo, God, why are you all up in my business and sharing it with the pastor? How does that happen? I'm going to tell you how that happens. It happens because all transformation occurs in an instant, even though qualifications cannot occur in an instant. So let's jump into this, okay? If you guys are getting it, just write in the chat, I'm getting it. Let me know if someone's getting it. If you guys are getting it, let me know in the chat by saying I'm getting it, and I'm gonna break down this process of transformation before we go back to showing you how so many people can be the very, very issue, the antithesis of their own breakthrough, okay? And guys, let me know if this is good. If there's anything you hear today which is good, just write in the chat the word good, okay? Let me know if this is good. If someone's getting value, feel free to throw the letter V in the chat for value, or at the same time, you could just write value, okay? So I know that you're getting value. All right, let's go. Talia says, I'm getting it. Okay, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this. You guys are getting it, okay? So now let's go down. Let's get into it. So I just showed you, well, let me even go further. Let me go even more, 2 steps back instead of 1 step back. I just told you that everything the good Lord tells you, he's already put in place to show you. Because he knows what people say all the time, which is seeing is believing. And the truth is seeing is not actually believing, it's believing which allows you to start seeing. Which is why every time you receive a value statement, you should be able to go and do your research and find that the thing you heard in your head or in your mind can also be found out there in the real world, right? So I just showed you this in a simple, simplistic example, okay? So let me bring it back up. I just said we're going to talk about transformation. Talia said, Samuel, go break it down, right? She said, yes, do it. Here it goes, right? She said, yes, do it. So because Talia said, yes, do it, I said, okay, let me share with you very quickly about transformation, which I usually teach on. But again, it wasn't for today's session, but I'll do a recap version and you guys will get it. So the ultimate visualization of the process of transformation we see when we watch a caterpillar transform in front of you, in front of me, into a beautiful butterfly. But watch this. This is where it gets good. The question is, what does a butterfly actually do to become the butterfly before me and you? And most people have no idea, no clue. So I'm going to give you a very quick, simple science lesson right now, even though I wasn't a science teacher, I was a math teacher, right? But this science lesson is going to show you how all transformation occurs in an instant, but more importantly, how you can actually start transforming any area in your life you want. Let's go. The first thing the caterpillar does, right? First thing the caterpillar does, and I know for some of you guys, I'm already excited on the inside for some of you just being on this live, because you're going to see something that's going to allow you to thrive and stop being in the mode which people call survive. Okay? If anyone else is excited and you don't even know what I'm about to share yet, just write in the chat, I am. Watch this. The first thing a caterpillar does in order to become the beautiful butterfly is it actually just goes and forms a shell. That's the first thing it does. It forms a shell. We call it a cocoon. You can break it down into the science, but the reason I don't like calling it forms a cocoon is because we do the same thing. We form a shell. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, Matthew chapter 7. Actually, you know what? It even happens before then. Matthew chapter 6. The chapter before it happens even neater, right? Matthew chapter 6. Let me show you this real quick. Jesus is teaching his buddies, we call them disciples, how to pray. And listen to what he says to them. He says to them, and when you pray, oh, this is so good. You shall not be as the hypocrites, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of their house. Listen to this. That they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. Now here's where the bombshell comes. Verse 6. But when you pray, enter into your closet. And then, when you have shut the door. Oh, what did Jesus just say? Jesus just said that all transformation starts with forming a shell. The shell of prayer is going into your closet and shutting the door. The shell, let's do this. The shell for the caterpillar, we call a cocoon. Is someone getting this right now? Is someone literally saying, Sammy, you're already blowing my mind and we haven't even gone to stage 2? Because this is how transformation works. You want to transform your finances, you've never formed a financial shell. You want to transform your health, you've never formed a health-oriented shell. You want to transform your wealth, you've never formed a wealth shell. Stage 1, Matthew chapter 6, he's teaching his disciples how to pray, how to create transformation. And he says, when you pray, when you are going to do this transformative stuff, start by going into your closet and closing the door. Someone write in the chat the word more, because I know some of you don't believe me. I know some of you are literally sitting there thinking, Simon, that was good. You got me there. That was a left hook there, but I need more. Okay, you need more. Let me give you more. In the Old Testament, some people don't believe the new, they want the old, right? In the Old Testament, 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1 to 7, there's a story, powerful story, of a widow. This widow is going through destitution. Her husband dies, and her husband owed money. And because her husband owed money to some people, guess what happened? Those people said, yo, we come into the crib, and we taking your kid. That's what they said to her. They said, we're going to take your children and make them bond servants. 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 1 to 7. So this woman, she doesn't know what to do. She's a widow. She hasn't got any income generating currently. And she's looking at her children and she's like, you just kiddies. You can't do nothing. You just kiddies, right? So she does the only thing she knows to do. She goes and finds a coach. Oh, sorry. I'm speaking 2026 to you. Let me speak Bible language. She goes and finds the prophet, Elisha. And she says to the prophet, she says, your servant, my husband, is dead. And she says, now that he's dead, the creditors, the people he owed, are coming to my house and saying they're going to take my children and make them bondservant. What should I do? Let me tell you what he tells her to do. He first actually has a coaching experience with her. That's why I call him the coach, right? His coaching experience is he starts asking her questions. Because obviously, this woman was probably asking him for help because she thought, oh, I could get an offering. But he didn't give her an offering. Instead, he offered her some optimism. He didn't give her an offering. Instead, he gave her some options. He says to her, tell me, what do you have in your house? She probably weren't expecting that. She was probably expecting him to just start counting the bread. Okay, how many stacks you need? 100, 20, 2. But he didn't do that. And guys, I'm saying this because I want you to understand this. Most of the time, in your life and mine, when a problem tries to shine, we're looking for someone else to solve it for us. Instead of saying to ourselves, what are my options? Instead of saying to ourselves, where is my optimism? We are looking for an offering. We're looking for someone else to bail us out the problem. But let me tell you the problem with that. The problem with that is there's no growth, there's no development, and when the same problem comes around again, oh Lord, someone needs to pick up their pen. You're going to have no idea what to do because you're going to be waiting for another offering to come through. Oh, is this valuable to someone? Someone let me know if this is helping you. You see, I want you to understand how this works. Transformation doesn't work the way we think it works. It doesn't work by people getting us out of our situations, because no one, ladies and gentlemen, no one, my friend, no one, person who's listening to this intently, I want to tell you, no one is coming to save you. The very fact, thank you, I see the like, let's go. The very fact that God allows you to hear somebody who gives you a form of inspiration, the very fact that the Lord, the good Heavenly Father, allows you to connect with some words in a conversation, the very fact that you might be minding your business, but someone starts speaking some words that feels like they up in your business, is the very fact that God is trying to tell you there is no coincidence and I got your back. But I got your back if you've got your back. And there's so many people who don't have their own back, but they want someone else to go get their back. Imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine not having your own back, not being ready to run, but expecting someone else to come. As it says in the Bible, these things ought not be so. It doesn't work like that. You see, if it worked like that, we'd see that in science, we'd see it in nature, we'd see it in creation, but we don't see it. Why? Because that's not the way it works. Let's see how it works. This is how it works. You guys didn't write more, so you don't want more. Okay, cool. So let's just jump back into this. This is how it works. Look at me. I'm so excited. I don't even know where my stylus is. There it goes. So this is how it works. Transformation. We see the caterpillar, it goes into a cocoon. What is that? It forms a shell. Now, this is where the ninja stuff happens. And most people don't know about this ninja stuff. So I'm going to unravel some ninja stuff to you real quick. This is Talia's fault. Someone thank Talia or blame Talia because she's the one who said, Samuel, you got to do this, right? So let's do it. When a caterpillar goes into the cocoon, when it forms a shell, the next process that happens is the process that most people are unaware of. It begins to fragment itself. Literally. It begins to fragment itself. What is that process? I'm going to tell you what that process is. That process is the process of transformation. Here's a question, right? One of my colleagues on a coaching program I was on in 2022, he asked me a powerful question. Chris asked me a powerful question. We're sitting on a Zoom call, having a chat. And Zoom says, and Chris says to me on this Zoom, he says something so profound. He says, Samuel, he says, you know a caterpillar, when it goes into the cocoon, he says, you know it can't come back out. And it's like, I've been teaching this for years, but when Chris said that to me, it's like my mind went, psh. I was like, Samuel, are you a dummy? Like, how did you not realize? Like, true transformation has no undoing. True transformation has no backtracking. Oh, someone just got excited right there. Listen, I literally felt someone catch what I was saying. Let me explain this in a more tangible way for those of you, for those of you who are over there in the back who didn't get that. Let me explain it in a more tangible way, right? What that means is when we were growing up and we hear all those stories of those millionaires who become millionaires, then lose all their millions out there and then reclaim their millions again, it didn't make sense to us. To many of us, it's like, hold on a minute, how's this guy make these millions, lose all the millions? If I make those millions, I'll never lose my millions. Let me tell you why they're able to make it back. Because what they really gained was more important than the money that people are talking about. You see, when you truly transform, there's no going back. True transformation is you achieving a level of a destination. There's no going back. Why would you go back? And even if you lose the money, oh, someone's going to catch this. you've been transformed. It's only a matter of time. Someone needs to hit the like button. It's only a matter. Think about what I'm sharing with you. True transformation occurs in an instant. And even if you lose the money after the process of the transformation, there's no going back. Talia says, never. I ain't never going back. Never, 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 never. Why would you? You've been transformed. You've been transformed. You've become someone else. You've developed and become someone else. Now, here's the question, right? Because I want you guys to understand this. You might just be thinking, Samuel, that's really deep. I become someone else when I get transformed. So there's no going back. Okay, but here's the reason why. Because you actually, physiologically, in our case as human beings, psychologically, sometimes spiritually, have fragmented yourself. You have torn off of yourself the parts of you that were caterpillar-like. And you have embraced into yourself the parts of you which are butterfly-like. That's why all transformation occurs in an instant. Because when you have torn off a part of you that synonymizes with the old you, you can't go back to being the old you because you don't have those parts with you. When you transform into your new norm, you can't start being who you used to be. Let me share this with you, right? I hope someone's ready for this. I didn't stay up till 1:21 to share this with someone who's not ready for this. So I hope you're ready for this. Fasten your seatbelt, grab your pen, paper, everything you need in order to succeed, because this is where it gets hot. One of the biggest barriers outside of yourself and myself to our next success is the people around us who are so used to our caterpillar-like nature. So you're going to tell them your butterfly dream, and they're going to tell you they don't know what you mean. And you're going to tell them what the butterfly's seen, and they're going to tell you again they don't know what you mean. Because they cannot understand how a caterpillar that crawls, oh, someone needs to hear this. They can't understand how a caterpillar that crawls can have views, visions, and sights of something that flies. I want you to think about this. Like, imagine if in the area of your wealth, everything could transform in an instant. But all you had to do is go through the transformative process. You have to form a shell. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, Samuel, this form a shell thing, you keep saying it. Like, what does that mean? Let me tell you what part of forming a shell is. It's closing the door to the negativity of the people that were there before. That's part of going into the closet and shutting the door. That's part of the cocoon of forming a shell. You don't keep injecting yourself with the same word salad of the people that are from where you were from. Instead, you realize where I'm going is a destination they're not knowing. So I need to start speaking and showing instead of sticking with these people who are stopping me growing. I don't know if this is helping someone today. So transformation is a very simple process. We see it perfectly and beautifully as we watch the most beautiful transformative process, which is called a metamorphosis. Now, guys, I even want to get into the root word of metamorphosis now. Talia, you literally just spun me around in today's session, but it's okay. You said do it, so let's do this. The first thing that happens for the caterpillar to become a butterfly, it has to form a shell. Now, here's one thing you need to write down in your notes. Who forms the shell? Okay? Because I've been teaching this stuff for years, and a lot of the time, this is the one question that allows people to change gears. I want you to think about this. I'm going to say it again in case you need to pick up your pen. I've been teaching this stuff for years, and this is one of the questions that helps people start changing their gears. Who forms the shell? Somebody write it down in their journal. Write that question down. Who forms the shell? The butterfly doesn't form the shell. Hello, somebody. I hope you're listening to this. The butterfly does not form the shell. This is the biggest mistake most people make. Most people are waiting for someone else to start igniting their transformation. Why? Because they thought the butterfly forms the shell. You think your future you is going to come back to you and allow you to do what your future you can do. No, it's not going to work like that. It doesn't work like that, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize, and unfortunately there are no prizes for consolation. The reality and the truth is the butterfly does not form the shell. The caterpillar forms the shell. Talia's got it. Me. Whoever you are right now, desiring to be whoever you desire to be right now, you, who you are right now, has to form the shell to set up yourself to become who you're supposed to become. You have to say, I'm going on that program. You have to say, I'm invested in that coaching. You have to say, I'm going to learn that next language. You have to say, I'm going to understand what this word means and what that word means. You have to pick up the dictionary. You have to face it even though it's scary. You have to form the shell. Now, here's the beautiful thing. All you have to do is form the shell, because the next process when you're in the shell is simple as you fragment yourself. Samuel, what do you mean? Well, this is what I mean. If there's parts of you that are not conducive to aerodynamic flight, guess what's going to happen? When you form the shell and you start discovering about aerodynamic flight, you're going to discover, oh, I don't need these 18 legs anymore. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to shed those 18 legs for sure. I want you to think about how powerful this is. The issue for most people is most people are trying to hold on to the pieces, counterparts, that are not necessary for where they say they want to go. And then they see someone who's going to assist them and help them to grow, and they say to that person, oh, no, 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 no. Why? Because you've got no space for them. You've got no space for them. Oh, Lord, someone needs this. Okay, I'm going to break this down. Watch this, okay? I hope this helps someone. Nobody asked for this, but I hope this helps someone, all right? I hope this helps someone. Tyler says it is powerful indeed. Let's go. Guys, if this is powerful, let's start hitting that like button. You know what to do. Pop, 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 pop. Show the platform that this is valuable, because I'm going to forget otherwise, right? Tyler's reminding me. If this is of value to you, write the word value in the chat. Every time you write a comment in the chat, guess what the platform says? It says, hey, this is engaging. Other people need that, right? Second thing, if you hear something you like, that's why the like button's called like. Hit the button that's called like, right? And you can tap it as many times as you want. It doesn't discriminate. I'll say that. The third thing is, if you're on the red platform, feel free to hit subscribe, become a part of the tribe, okay? We're here for you. We want to help you grow too, okay? And last but not least, if you're not following, feel free to follow the host so you can get even more or most of this content, right? Hopefully that helps, okay? Let's go deeper now. I'm going to share something real quick, super quick, right? Again, not planned, but I think this will be helpful. Now, let's use a lady. Let's use a lady, okay? So we have this amazing damsel right here, okay? Have this damsel right here. Now, I want to show you something about this amazing damsel. And guess what I'm going to say? What I'm about to show you about this amazing damsel is the same about you. Watch this, right? Let's say this is 100% of this amazing damsel. Okay, this is 100% of this amazing damsel. Watch this. This much percent, which is circa 70% of this amazing damsel, is one particular material. And I know it's hard for you to understand, but it's the truth. Now, does anyone know what the one material is that makes up 70% of this amazing damsel, which is not just true for this amazing damsel, it's also true for you? Someone let me know in the chat. Okay? Someone let me know in the chat. And for the sake of time, if you don't let me know quick enough, I'm going to let you know. Okay? You and I, as human beings, are made up of 70% of a specific ingredient. And most of us have no clue why we're made up of 70% of that material. But I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I didn't plan to show you, but I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to show you to help you, okay? Now, there's a man called Bruce Lee. Some of you know who I'm talking about. Some of you might not be old enough to know who I'm talking about. But Bruce Lee was a very famous actor, martial artist, philosopher, right? And Bruce Lee's got a book. He's got a saying which his daughter then turned into a book, right? I've read the book, powerful book, good book, interesting book to read. The saying Bruce Lee had was, be like water, my friend. But Bruce Lee made a mistake. All right? Sorry, I like catching mistakes. Let me tell you the mistake he made. He said, be like water. But guess what Samuel Ikan-Win's going to tell you? You already are. Because you and I, just like this amazing damsel I just drew, and guys, I apologize. I'm not Leonardo da Vinci. I'm not Picasso. My drawings are not on fleek, but it is what it is. We are made up of 70% water. Or you can call it H2O. Or you can call it, if you want to use the Hebrew, which I'm writing the wrong way, but Mayim, Mem Yud Mem. We're made of 70% water. Now, here's a question. Why do you think the good Lord decided to make us of 70%, which means the majority, of water? I'm going to tell you why. Because water finds it simple to transform. Because water is the kind of material that can shift and flow and say, I want to grow. Through means of the law of erosion, water can break things down. Through means of the law of evaporation, water can disappear from where it was around. Or if someone's getting this, just write in the chat, I'm getting it. I want you to understand, you see, Talia wanted us to break down transformation. Now we're breaking down transformation. We didn't even plan to break down transformation. But I want you to understand how this works. This is why people are struggling in life, because they don't understand basic, simple things. And guys, I'm not saying it to say you don't understand basic, simple things. I'm saying it to say you might not have seen the connection between something you are finding difficult and something that's a basic, simple thing. And as I often say to my closest friends, conversations create compensation. And because you ain't endeavoring to have any high-level conversations, oh, someone already finished the sentence, you're struggling to have high-level compensation. The high level of compensation will come when you start allowing yourself to have high levels of conversation. And that's the challenge for most people. Most people are running away from high-level conversation, and they don't know why they're not receiving any compensation. They don't know why things feel difficult. They don't know why their finances are hard done by. They don't know why it's going on like that. They don't know why the check is not fat. They don't know why. And let me tell you what the easiest thing to do is when you don't know why. Begin to no longer try. Let me tell you what another easy thing is to do when you feel like you just don't know why. Blame, blame, blame another guy. This is what, guys, someone told me in the chat if I'm perfectly describing the world we live in. Am I perfectly describing the world we live in? A world where people are blaming other people? A world where people are giving up on their own goals, giving up on their own dreams, giving up on the things that actually mean something to them? Am I describing the current world we're living in? You let me know. Or am I just making this up? I don't know. I don't know if I'm making this up. Listen, I'm going to keep it super real with you, right? I'm happily married and have been for 14 years. Yesterday, I celebrated my 14th year wedding anniversary. I have 6 children and I homeschool. I run my own business and have been doing so since 2015. And before that, I was already making money outside of my work. So I'm a bit far removed from the rest of the world. I'm going to be honest with you, right? Besides my coaching clients, I don't really think I actually really engage with the rest of the world. Okay, yes, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When I'm in my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club, I talk to some of the guys in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu club, right? Yes, I used to do Muay Thai. When I'm doing Muay Thai, I talk to some of the guys in the Muay Thai club. Yes, my children, they used to do all swimming lessons. So when I take them swimming, okay, guys, I have some interaction, but I don't have guys, I don't do the school run, okay, like some people do. I don't go to a 9 to 5 like many people do. I don't take orders from a boss who doesn't like me because they're afraid that one day I might take their job and they'll end up like me. I left that world in 2016. It was actually 2017. My wife was able to leave her job in 2016, and I had to hand in my resignation in 2016, but actually left in 2017. Since 2017, that's nearly 10 years. Next year, that's going to be 10 years. Glory to God, grace, and life permitting. Like, guys, that's nearly 10 years. I gotta be honest with you. Maybe I'm a bit far removed from the reality of the real world, but I think that's the world that we're living in today. Someone tell me in the chat if I'm right or not. Do you think the world looks like what I just described, or am I just some guy in his studio telling you some stuff which doesn't know what he's talking about? I don't know. You gotta tell me. So like I said, guys, there's a reason why our composition is 70% water. There's a reason why we're made of 70% water. It's not an accident. It's not an accident. It's not just, no, that was a nice idea. No, it's actually purposeful. It's purposeful for a very divine reason that is supposed to be a blessing and benefit to you and I. Let's get back to this. Otherwise, I'm gonna be ranting all night. Let's go. So the first thing we need to do, okay, is we need to form a shell. That's the first process of transformation. We identify that when we watch a cocoon transform into a butterfly. When we watch a caterpillar transform into the cocoon transform into a butterfly. We've got to form a shell. Second thing we've got to do is we've got to fragment ourselves, okay? Fragmenting ourselves is the process of getting rid of what will no longer serve us in the future that we are going towards. Fragmenting ourselves is embracing the thing that we need to go to where we're going to succeed. If someone wants to know, if someone wants to hear something cool, just write the word cool in the chat, right? If I get like 3 or 4 calls in the chat, I'll share something with you. And this is something I don't get to usually teach on because we just sometimes don't have the time. It's something like, guys, I geek out on this stuff, right? I've had a lot of years to be able to study this stuff, research this stuff, find this stuff out, live this stuff out, and see my coaching clients live this stuff out and get paramount results. And I'm like, yo, well done. And they're like, but Samuel, it worked. It actually worked. I'm like, well, what did you expect it to do? Like, this has been going on for thousands of years. How long have caterpillars been becoming butterflies? Like, you think I made this up? That's the whole, oh, I get it why you're so surprised this stuff actually works for you. Because you thought I just made this up. Like all the other guys that you worked with in the past that your success didn't last. You thought I just made this up. But then you realize, oh, wow, snap. The reason it works is because he didn't make this up. The reason it works is because he's just showing me what's been happening from day one. Let's go. Jar75, thank you for deciding to follow the host. You see, when people start realizing that you're not making it up, like maths. Listen, let me tell you why I used to like maths in school, right? I know the whole world has an agenda to make you not like maths in school. I know the whole world says, oh, I'm not good at maths. I'm just not good at maths. You are good at maths. You were mismarketed to. I'm just going to tell you the truth, right? I have not had a student who was not good at maths. And I taught hundreds of students in multiple schools, right? And if any of my students ever end up on my lives, which they have done in the past, right? They will tell you, Mr. Kimwin, no, you don't play with him. He'll turn you into a lover of maths. Why? Because I'm just fed up of doing what the mainstream media and social media want to do, which is make you think you're not good at things you were created to be good at. So let's go into this. Maths was of interest to me as a child because I discovered very quickly that maths is the only subject that wasn't made up. English is made up. If someone understands what I'm talking about, just put yes in the chat. English is made up, guys. You're going to use a word. What word? Rebuttal. Someone made the word rebuttal. English was not the original language. English is made up. By who? By a person just like me and you. Oh, snap, someone caught it. So if English is made up by a person just like me and you, what does that mean? That means it wasn't discovered. History. History's made up, guys. Oh no, Samuel, history is actually what happened. No, it's not. History is what someone told you happened. You weren't there, you don't know. So it's not actually history. When you go to school and study history, I'm telling you, you're not studying history. You're studying stories that people told you is what occurred. And some of us know, some of us know the history they show ain't the history that actually happened. Oh. Someone's getting it right now. Why is that the case? Because you ain't studying history, you're studying people's stories. This is why most people's lives do not work. Listen, you think most people's lives do not work by accident. I'm telling you, most people's lives do not work on purpose. As a secondary and A-level math teacher, as a teacher trainer, I used to teach teachers how to teach. This is my master's dissertation from 10 years ago when I became a master teacher. I am telling you, people's lives are in quiet states of desperation on purpose, not by accident, on purpose. Because it's engineered to be that way. Because the overwhelming majority of what you've been taught in school, oh Lord, I don't want to finish that sentence. You were not taught for you to rule. You were taught instead for you to become someone go read Proverbs chapter 8. Let me just say that. Because when you read Proverbs chapter 8, you see the whole of the chapter is about two people. One is wise and the others are, it rhymes with what I was saying before. Let's go. When you go to school, you're not taught to rule. When you go to school, you're taught to be someone can finish that. Thank you, Grandma Ma. Mama, Grandma Mama, let's go for following the host. We appreciate you. Okay? I want you to understand how this works, guys. This is how it works. You are not failing by accident. You are failing on purpose. Why? Why are you failing on purpose? Thank you for the donation, whoever that was. Grandma, Mama sent the rose. Let's go. Thank you for your donations. We appreciate you. Nobody fails by accident. Oh, snap. Someone don't believe me. I literally felt someone like, no, so I've been failing by accident. Jesus said the blind, if they lead the blind, they all fall in the ditch. Listen to the language. You see, the problem is we go to church, right? And the pastors, sometimes the pastors make so much noise, we don't actually get the value, okay? So can I keep it real? Can I keep it this real? Talia says, I do. Guys, let me know if I can keep it this real, okay? Grandma Mama is throwing those donations in the house. Let's go. Grandma Mama, appreciate you. Thank you, right? Sometimes we hear the preachers make so much noise, we don't actually hear the sound of what the value is. So let me give you an example, right? Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind. Now, what makes someone blind who's following behind? I'll tell you, the only thing that makes someone blind that's following behind is the fact the person in front is blind. So Jesus said if the blind lead the blind, the secondary blind are only blind because the person there behind is blind. I want you to think about this. You might actually see, but if you're behind a person who can't see, then you're as good as someone who can't see. Why is this so powerful, Samuel? Why is this so relevant, Samuel? Listen to why it's relevant. If the blind lead the blind, they all fall in the ditch. So what if the school puts us in the ditch? What if we're following systems, strategies, and settings that a system has given us, and we think we can use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes? Samuel, you've said this a few times. What do you mean? Let me blow your mind. Financial freedom is not a school outcome. If that's correct, someone write in the chat the word yes. Let me know. Let me know if that. Listen, guys. I taught in schools for many years. I was a teacher trainer. My last job. I used to teach teachers how to teach. I know what school objectives and outcomes are. You might not know. You might just take your child there and just believe your child's going to come out with shining colors, right? But let's just start breaking this down right now. Let's just be very transparent, right? Financial freedom is not something discussed in school. If that's correct, someone just put yes in the chat. They do not discuss financial freedom in school. You know why? It's not an objective. It's not an outcome. It's not something of interest in a school. So how can you use school tactics? Like one of the things they will teach you in school is to save money. Okay? How can you use school tactics to achieve non-school outcomes? Here's the answer. You can't. Like, guys, let's stop fooling ourselves. We've been educated into problems. So the failure most people are experiencing is not accidental. It's actually, I've got to say it. It's actually, I'm going to say it. It's actually, hear me when I say it, it's not accidental, it's actually parental. And when I say parental, I don't mean your actual parents. I mean the people you are following as though they're your parents are the people that have set you up for destruction because the information they've given you is actually a form of corruption. This is the reason why when you and I decide to form a shell, life starts to incrementally get exceptionally well. Because we stop listening to the rhetoric that was plugged into us prior. And we start realizing, hold on a minute, are you telling me for the last 38 years? Are you telling me for the last 52 years? Are you telling me for the last 64 years? I've been listening to junk. And I've been questioning why my life is a funk. I'm going to tell you why your life is like that. Your life is like that on purpose. The only problem is it wasn't you working it on purpose. But you can change that. Because all transformation occurs in an instant. Qualifications do not occur in an instant, but transformation occurs in an instant. Samuel, break it down. Let's go. Talia, you got me today. I must say, Talia, you got me today. I did not think I would be teaching on transformation, but let's go. Okay? So let's jump into this. I don't even think we're going to have time to talk about what I really wanted to, but let's go. Let's go. It's all right. I'm here for you guys. Let's go. I see those likes. This is when you guys be throwing the likes in the chat. Ah, he's doing it for us. He's doing it for us. Let's go. All right. Samuel, I can win. It can win. P. Lukota G. I don't know what that means. Please, come on. What language is that? What are you saying? Just help me out. Help me out. Help me out. I need the New English translation. All right, the New English translation. Okay, that's not a Bible translation for those of you who don't know. That's just me playing around. All right, I need the New English translation. All right, let's do this. All right, let's do this. So, in order to produce a form of transformation, we have to do some specific things. Okay, we have to do some specific things. The first thing we got to do is we got to form a shell. Okay, that's where it starts. We form a shell. Now, straight after we form a shell, we begin to fragment ourselves. What's the fragmentation process? It's taking off of us anything that's not conducive for where we're going. Okay, so I'll give you a quick example, right? Because like I've been coaching people for a number of years. I see people create these transformations very, very rapidly. So I'm just going to give you some examples so you guys can instantly see, oh, wow, snap, Samuel, I get it, right? So let me give you a quick one, right? If you don't read and you should read, that's one form of fragmentation. If someone gets it, just write in the chat, I get it, okay? I know that might have been a bit hard. I know some of you guys weren't ready for that, but I'm gonna keep it real. Now, look, let me tell you something. One of the things I have dedicated my life to doing is helping people become free, okay? Helping people become free. Why? Because I know what it felt like to me. I remember what it felt like when I wasn't free, which is why I've dedicated my life to helping people become free. Okay, les metis señor. Let me know if I'm saying that correctly, 100%, right? Let me know if I'm saying that correctly, please, right? So I'm gonna give you an example. I'm just gonna pull some books from in my studio / library for you guys to see. Oh snap! I get why Sam. Look, let's do this. I'm gonna pull some books so you can see. Oh snap! I get why Samuel reads on these topics, because these topics are what he's dedicated to do, right? So if you don't read, but you should read, then you need to start reading, okay? So look, this is a book, okay? Written by the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe, okay? Let's see if we can get some focus up in here, okay? This book is called The Burden of Freedom, okay? And guys, I don't know, like some people say I've got a massive library. I've got a good sized library. I don't know. I've got a good sized library. So because of that, here's what I'm gonna do. Guys, if you want, guys, if you are interested in books, just write the word book in the chat, because I really like books. So you see what's happened right now. I've literally, like, my whole brain has like kind of shifted a whole new gear. Talia, let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if all of this is helpful, or if you want me to just go back to wrapping up on transformation. Talia, let me know. And everyone else, you let me know. If you want me to do a quick, like, I don't know, you pick a number, throw a number in the chat, and I'll basically share with you or show you that many books, the number you say, right? That can help you, right? But just to indicate to you, these are the topics I read on for the things that I'm going towards, all right? I love that, all right? Les says, Les, let me know if it's Les. Let me know if I'm addressing you correctly, sir, because I want to make sure I'm doing that, right? Les says he's got 2 backpacks full of books, going through them bit by bit. I love that. Les, look. 2 backpacks will not even fit the amount of books we got up in this studio, right? You can just see we got books. We got books like all the way to the left. We got books all the way to the right. This is double height, so this ain't even one level. This is double levels here, and then over there I've actually got a whole bookshelf. I can show you the bookshelf as well. Actually, I'll show you the bookshelf now, right? So there you see that there's a whole bookshelf next to the vibe board, right? Whole bookshelf, right? Okay. So we got books in the studio all over the place. This is I study, guys, because the Bible says study to show yourself approved. It doesn't say study just the Bible. It says study to show yourself approved. So I'm just letting you guys know, okay? All right, no one wrote books in the chat, so I'm gonna stop here. This is one book, Burden of Freedom, all right? Burden of Freedom by the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe. That's a book that teaches people why freedom is so important and how freedom can be achieved, okay? All right, so let's jump back into the session. Now, we were talking about transformation. I was sharing with you guys that transformation is a very predictable process. It's a process you can replicate. It's a process you can literally have work in your life. So let's get back into it. How do you transform? This is how you transform. You start by forming a shell. The next stage after forming a shell is you have to fragment yourself. That's pulling off of you the parts of no use to you based on where you're going to. Okay. Now, after you form a shell, you fragment yourself. You get the beautiful pleasure of being at the stage of leisure. Okay. That's part 3. What's part 3? Here's part 3. My favorite part. You become your future self. Okay. After you form a shell, let's get this up so you can see it. The caterpillar does the same thing. You don't get any better rights than a caterpillar because you're a human being. Okay. I apologize, but I'm just telling you the truth, right? The same way the caterpillar goes through this process of transformation, okay, which is called a metamorphosis. Okay. Now, most of you guys may not know the root of what that word means, but the word meta, okay, meta literally means met. Meta means death. Okay. Morph is a transformation. To morph is to transform. When you look at the root linguistics, where these words come from, you start realizing, oh snap, I was saying the words, but I didn't know what the words were actually saying. A metamorphosis is a death transition with emphasis, okay? On what? What's the emphasis on? The emphasis is on the death, okay? Jesus said it to us in another set of words. In the Bible, Jesus says, unless a seed goes into the ground, and it must, someone let me know what it says in the chat. Jesus said, unless a seed goes into the ground and the seed dies, it cannot go forward and produce a tree. What was Jesus talking about? Transformation. It's the same thing. Whether you're talking about a seed becoming a tree, whether you're talking about a caterpillar, whether you're talking about you or me, it doesn't make a difference. The process of transformation is a metamorphosis process. It's a process where transformation occurs with an emphasis on death occurring. So this caterpillar goes into the cocoon, it forms a shell. In the cocoon, it fragments itself, process of death, and it becomes its future self. You see, some of us read the Bible, right? But we don't actually understand what's going on. Some of us just think it's weird and wacky. Like, hey, how comes this Jesus guy has to come and die? Like, what's the dying thing about? Yeah, that's transformation. Some of you are getting it now. Some of you have spent all your life never understanding what the actual Bible you've been reading says. It's a process of, he was transforming things. And there's no such thing as a transformation without some form of death. Something has to die. You have to die to your old self in order to start to have optimal health. You have to die to your old self in order to have optimal wealth. Oh, someone's catching this today. Transformation has inside of its DNA a death component. How do you expect to become wealthy and healthy doing all the things you were doing before you were wealthy or healthy? Oh, someone's catching that. Blessing Moluka, thank you for deciding to follow the host. We appreciate you. And Blessing, let me know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Les, you ain't even told me if I'm pronouncing it correctly or not yet. All right. Les says Romans 12, my all-time favorite. Let's go. Okay. Guys, I'm just trying to help you guys. I just want you to see how this works. Like, you think life has not been working for you. What you don't realize is life has been working for you. You haven't been working it. You haven't been working it. You haven't gone to find out how things work. You haven't gone to realize, oh, God has given me a blueprint for transformation. He shows me how a caterpillar becomes a butterfly. 3 simple steps. Guess what I have to do? Follow the steps. Oh my gosh, someone's life is changing right now. How do I follow the steps? Oh, let's go. Talia says, Samuel, go for it. This is insane. Guys, I want you to understand. It's that simple. If you start understanding how things work, oh, I'm about to tell you, things will start to work for you. You start understanding, okay, so all I need to do every time I want to transform is I have to form a shell. Then I have to fragment myself. Then I have to be my future self. Okay, how do I form a shell? I'll tell you, join a coaching program. That's an example of how you form a shell. You get into some form of incubation, where in that room, you don't hear the conversation of the old people. You now hear the conversation of the new people, for example. Someone needed to hear that. How do you form a shell? Join a program. Okay? Get a new way of doing things. That's forming a shell, a proverbial shell. How do you fragment yourself? Say, I'm gonna do what the coach says, I'm not gonna do what I think. Samuel, what do you mean? How did you come to that conclusion, Samuel? Is it because you coach people? No, it's because I saw how things work. 2 Kings chapter 4. I said it to you guys earlier. What did she do? She came to the coach. She was looking for the coach to give her the money and bail her out of her problem. She was looking for an offering. He gave her optimism. She was looking for the door out. He gave her direction in. I want you to think about how this works. Let me tell you what would have happened to this woman if she did what she thought was best. She would not have been blessed. Oh, someone called it. This is why you guys have to understand how things work. Because if you don't understand how things work, when they don't work for you, you find someone to blame too. You start saying, oh, it's because my mom didn't do this. It's because my dad didn't do this. It's because the school I went to. It's because the woman I married. It's because the man you married. It's because the state I live in. It's because the person in politics. Listen, let me tell you what Jim Rohn said. Jim Rohn said, so powerful. He said, don't blame the sand. Don't blame the soil. Don't blame the sun. And don't blame the seed, because that's all you've got. Let me tell you something. I heard that in 2005. That changed my life. 21 years ago. That changed my life. Samuel, listen, let me tell you something. I celebrated my 18th birthday in a prison cell. It was easy for me to come out of that prison cell and blame the sun, and blame the soil, and blame the seed. But in the words of Jim Rohn, but that was all I had. What happens when you blame everything you have? You have nothing left. And if you go read Matthew 25, let me tell you the story of someone who had nothing left. The Bible says he's a wicked and lazy servant because he's doing nothing with what he's got. But let me tell you something about someone else. Oh, let's go. The other two servants who were given the 5 talents and the 2 talents, who didn't act like they've got nothing left, they went out there and they made the thing multiply. Why? Because they didn't say, all I've got is 1. Let me hide it under my... Instead, they said, no, listen, I've got these 5, but what does my master do? My master goes out there and produces results when it looks like he doesn't even have anything to produce results with. Why? I'm going to tell you why. Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God, someone tell me the next word. Talia, I love this. Talia says, more people should hear this. Talia, all you got to do is hit share. Let's go. Right? All you got to do is hit share. All right? Look, guys, let me say this. If you are ever on any of my lives and you're like, listen, more people need to hear this in their life, hit share to show the people out there that you care because you want them to hear what we're talking about up in here. Simple. Okay? If you hear something you like, hit like. It might give the algorithm a bit of a spike. Okay? All right. You guys are getting me excited right now. Listen, guys, I want you to understand how this works. There's 3 servants. They're all given something. But here's the thing that's interesting. They start off as servants, but 2 of them don't become servants at the end. I don't know if your pastors preach this one. Go read it again and start seeing, oh wow, Samuel changed my life. I've read this parable, I've read this story hundreds of times. I never see what Samuel just showed me. Let me show you something that you've never seen before. The 3 of them start as servants. But at the end of the parable, only 1 is still a servant. Let me tell you the words Jesus said. He said, the master said unto the first servant, you have done well with the 5. Go and be a ruler over more. You have done well with the 2. Go and be a ruler over more. What, Samuel? Wait, what? Samuel, is this connected with what you've been teaching? Transformation. Those servants had to die to how they would have done things to transform into how their master did things. And what happened when the master came back? He told them they're now rulers of things. They had to become rulers. Why? Because they followed the process of transformation. They formed the shell, fragmented themselves, and walked as their future self. Oh Lord, I hope someone's getting some value. All right. I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna do it. I was literally questioning, like, yo, should we go back to what I was gonna share today? No. Come on, guys, we can't do that. Here's what I'm gonna do though. I'm gonna do something that I don't usually do. I'm gonna open it up for questions, guys. What questions do you have? We'll take questions. What questions do you guys have? We'll take questions. What questions do you guys have? Guys, look, let me tell you something. My biggest desire is that I can please the Lord God who created me, and I can serve the people he sent me to with my utmost ability. And more importantly, with his strength. That strengthens me. So guys, that's why I'm here. I pray that you've been blessed by today. Throw your questions in. Let's put a timer up. Timer is going to be for, what should we do? Let's do 5. 5-minute timer. Whatever questions you guys have, throw your questions inside of the chat. Whatever questions you guys have, throw them in the chat. All right. First question. Talia says, the book, please. I did not catch it. The book, the one book you guys got, because you guys didn't write the word book, you didn't want any more books, is this book right here. It's called The Burden of Freedom. Okay, let's see if we get some focus. I gotta get my face out of the way. The Burden of Freedom. This is written by the late, great Dr. Miles Monroe. Okay, The Burden of Freedom. Okay, great book. Very powerful book. It's just, the reason I showed this book first, or it's the only book I ended up showing, but the reason I showed this book first is because this book really talks to how people are not free, but they don't even know they're not free. Okay, and look, for those of you who don't know, this is how I read. I don't even know if you're gonna see this. Yeah, look, there's green, okay, there's orange, okay. I just go for it. There's a writing, like, I don't read books, I devour books, okay. And the reason I consume books is because I got a book years ago which someone recommended me, and I don't know if it's here, or if it's in the other. It should be here, but there's a book I've got called How to Read. There it goes. How to Read a Book. This is another powerful book. I got this book years ago, probably about 2006. Okay, How to Read a Book by Mortimer J. Adler, all right, and Charles von Doran, right? So this book teaches you how to actually read a book, and this is another one, guys. This is another one. But this book helped me years ago make sure that the books I read, I don't just read, but I take out and extrapolate every kind of seed. So yeah, How to Read a Book. That's another recommendation you guys have got today. All right, guys, the time is running. 3 minutes 16 left. Throw your questions in. Oh, Talia says massively blessed. Talia, thank you ever so much. Glad you were blessed. Talia, let me know, was this the first live of mine that you've ever been on? Because your name is a beautifully unique name, so I assume I would have seen it before in the past and it would have stood out to me. So Talia, let me know if this is the first time you've been on a Samuel I Can Win live. If it is, just write FT for first time, or if you're back again, if you've been here before, just put BA for back again. All right, but you are most welcome, Talia. It's a pleasure. This is what I do. I've been doing this for years in multiple different ways, but yeah, this is the current rendition. We go live. I let my children go sleep. If my wife's asleep or she's chilling, whatever, and I just jump on live and help people move from survive into thrive. Let's go. All right. Talia says, thank you. All right. I love this. All right. Triple MG, what's your name? Triple MG, you can't just slide up into the live right at the end. I'm happy to answer the question, but at least come on, like, hey, Samuel, glad to see you, I got a question. All right, something, all right? You see, it's always interesting. Like, I'm super old school, right? And I'm not super old school because of my age. I'm super old school because, well, whatever. There's so many things I can say, right? But my dad raised me right. Let me put it that way. So because I'm super old school, like, I'm the good evening, good morning kind of guy. And I like greeting people when I meet people. So let's go. All right, so Triple MG, let me know your name so I know who I'm addressing first and foremost, and then I'll openly take your question. No problem. All right. Triple MG try and get me. Yo, I'm old school too. I'm old school too, but I didn't even greet you before I asked you a question. I love that. Talia says it's my first time. Talia, great blessing to have you on the live. If you haven't hit follow, Talia, feel free to hit follow just so that anytime I go live, you can get a notification. And again, we are. Actually, I'm not supposed to say that. My team told me I'm not supposed to say that. But for those of you who understand my code language, we're on the red platform, we're on the black platform, we're on the blue platform, and we're on the purple and orange platform. So feel free to, you know, get plugged in. The replays are on the red platform, okay? For anyone who goes through these lives and they're like, yo, I need the replay, or anyone who goes through these lives and wants more of these lives, you can go back, watch the old lives on the red platform. Now, throw your questions in, guys. We've got 52 seconds left of questions. 52 seconds left. Throw all your questions in. I will answer all the questions that come in the time. Just throw your questions in, all right? And then we'll get through them. All right, let's go. Triple MG, hit me with it. I'm old school as well. Wow. Talia says beautiful. Love that. All right, so Triple MG says PJ. I don't know if PJ stands for something, but let's jump into that. So PJ asked a great question. PJ says somebody's given them an Airbnb without no deposit. What should they do? Okay, when you say PJ, we need to do a little bit of coaching, if you don't mind me coaching you. But PJ, when you say they've given you an Airbnb without any deposit, does that mean they've given you a property for you to use using the strategy of service accommodation, which Airbnb is one of the platforms you can use in that regard, and they haven't asked you for a deposit, so you are basically getting the house for free? Is that what you're saying? And you can basically start using it straight away. Is that what you're saying? And just let me know. And if I'm incorrect in any of these, I guess they're assumptions I'm making in the question you've asked, let me know so I can answer your question to the highest level. Okay, I love that. All right, so PJ said, yes, they want me to host, and I'm absolutely correct. All right, so your question to me was, what should you do? Here's the first thing you should do. You should, well, I'm gonna plug something real quick, and then after I plug this thing, I'm gonna tell you exactly what to do, right? Or should I tell you what to do and then plug, right? DP for do, what do I do, then plug? Or PD in terms of plug and then tell me what to do, right? So PJ, you give me PD or DP, right? Because it's your question, right? I think that's only fair, okay? So we'll take PJ's question first, and then we'll go through the other questions as well. PJ decided to follow the host. Thank you, PJ. I appreciate that. All right, so PJ said BD, which I assume was PD. So plug and then give me what I need to do. Right, so here's the plug. I run a 5-day cash flow creation week, right? It's a cash flow creation challenge. I would encourage you to join that cash flow creation week because the question you asked indicates that you need the help that we actually deliver on those 5 days, okay? It's less than £500 to be a part of it, and it depends on how you decide to be a part. But no matter how you decide to be a part, whether it's general or VIP, it's all gonna be less than £500, and you'll get 5 days of deep dive training where for at least 1 hour, it's usually 90 minutes, but 90 minutes each day for 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be showing you on day 1, the science of cash flow creation, day 2, the strategies of cash flow creation, day 3, the skills of cash flow creation, day 4, the systems of cash flow creation, and day 5, I'm gonna show you a super ninja formula for you to have cash flow creation success, right? So that's the 5-day cash flow creation week that we run. You can go check out the information about that on cashflowcreationchallenge.com, all right? So that's the plug. Now, let's go into what you should do. Here's what you should do. You should figure out the return on investment. Someone write in the chat ROI. R for Romeo, O for opposite, and I for income, right? Someone write in the chat ROI, okay? ROI, okay? You should figure out the ROI of the deal, okay? This is the single biggest thing that makes people broke and gets them feeling like they need to choke when they go into real estate and property deals. They don't know the return on investment. They don't know how much money they're going to make from the money they're putting in. Now, if you are getting this property with no deposit, that tells me that you are probably gonna have to put the money in to furnish the property and get the property to a high level service accommodation standard, okay? So that's gonna be an investment. It might be £1,000, might be £5,000, might be £50,000, depends on the property and what it requires, right? But the point is, whatever you are putting in, even if you're putting in £1, and I can say £1 because I've done deals for £10 and 30 pence, which is some of the deals I talk about on the Cash Flow Creation Week. I've done deals for no money at all, none of my money at all. And I've generated money for 5 years on some of those deals without having put in any money of my own in the first place. And regardless of how much you put in, you are going to generate a return, okay? Well, hopefully, as long as you're doing the right thing. So you need to know the return on investment. Why? The return on investment is powerful because it allows you to understand the value of your money. If you are going to put £10 into this deal you're talking about and you're going to get £1 back, that's not worth it. If you're going to put £10 into this deal you're talking about and you're going to get £10 back, that's not worth it. Okay, let me just give you an example. If I said to you, PJ, I'm going to give you £10 through the internet streets, and I want you to give me £10 back, okay? And you said, okay, Samuel, I'll do that. Like, you gave me some value on the live, I'll do that. And we started doing that, and we just kept doing that. We kept doing that. What would be the benefit? There's no benefit, okay? So if I'm giving an amount of money and getting the same amount of money back, there's no point, right? People don't do things to get the same value back. People only do things to get more value. I'll give you an example, right? Every single person tuned into this live right now is only tuned in because what they're getting on this live, or what they're trying to see if they can get on this live, is more than what they're getting if they were not on this live, okay? If what I'm saying makes sense, someone write in the chat, makes sense, okay? Nobody who buys a pair of trainers, sneakers, shoes, Clarks, Wallabies, desert boots, desert treks, like a polo shirt, like a car, an Aston Martin, no one buys that thing because they think the thing is worth the same amount of money. Everyone buys things that they believe what they're getting is worth more to them than the money they exchange, okay? I hope this makes sense. Talia says it makes sense, okay? Because I want you to see this. Like, I'll give an example, right? I just plugged our 5-day cash flow creation challenge. Let me tell you a secret about the 5-day cash flow creation challenge. Although you cannot invest over £500 to be a part of that challenge, I give you on day one of that challenge a better than 10 times money back guarantee. What's a better than 10 times money back guarantee? I tell you on day one, if you get to the end of those 5 days and you don't feel like I've given you more than 10 times what you paid, ask for your money back and we'll give you 100% of your money back. We don't even charge you the 2% that our payment gateway charges us, okay? So I'm literally giving you money out of my pocket if you get to the end of the week and you're like, yo, this wasn't worth 10 times more. Now, if you can't invest over £500 to join the program, that means I'm telling you, I'm giving you over £5,000 worth of value over those 5 days. How do I know that? I can tell you that because we've had hundreds of people do our 5-day cash flow creation week and tell me that, right? So why am I saying that to you? Because if I created a program that was only worth the money you were paying, you'd pay the money, come on the program and say, this is not worth it. It's because we create a program that we know is worth at least 10 times what you pay that so many people come on the program and they're like, Samuel, you know what? Thank you so much. You changed my life. You showed me this. Without this, I wouldn't have this, etc. Okay? So PJ, first thing you need to do, all right? Laurent, feel free. Laurent, feel free. Anytime. No one's holding anyone hostage. All right? No one's holding anyone hostage. We love you, champ. All right, so PJ, first thing is find out the return on investment you can generate from that property, all right? And guys, someone hit the like button, man, for Laurent. Someone hit the like button for Laurent. Let him know that let Laurent know that, excuse me, let me not say him if I don't know. I can't see the picture. But let Laurent know that he can get some rest if he needs to, or they can get some rest if they need to, right? So first thing is find out what it is going to be worth to you. The way you find it out is by finding the return on investment. After you find out the return on investment, if the return on investment fits your investment threshold, and if you don't know what an investment threshold is, then you definitely want to be on the 5-day cash flow creation week, right? But if that return on investment hits your investment threshold, jump right in with 2 hands diving and 2 legs following, right? If the return on investment doesn't hit your investment threshold, then find someone who it does hit their investment threshold and sell the deal to them. Okay. Now there's a whole bunch of other scenarios that could occur, but they're the two approaches I would encourage you to follow. So, PJ, Let me know in the chat if that answers your question. Let's even do this. This is going to be even better. PJ, from a scale of 1 to 10, let's do that. Throw in the chat how you rate the answer to the question, with 1 being Samuel, I shouldn't have even asked you. I don't know why I thought you would have an answer. And 10 being Samuel, you literally just gave me some guidance that's going to help me change my future. So PJ, throw your answer in the chat in terms of how you rate your answer to the question. Let's go. All right, KT, triple WKT. That's interesting because KT is literally the church that I was a part of growing up. Laurent, PJ, thank you for your answer. I see your answer in the chat. So triple WKT, let's go. Says Jesus Christ died on the cross for your sins and he's coming soon. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you ever so much. That wasn't a question, but we love that. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you for that, triple WKT. All right. Talia said, thank you so much. This is hitting differently as I'm on the road to change career. That's absolutely amazing, Talia. Thank you for sharing. And more importantly, I'm going to say this, right? Most people probably wouldn't say this on their live, but I'm going to say this. Thank you for your transparency, Talia, okay? Because sometimes people go through situations like this, they go through lives like this, and they're like, this live is so live, and they don't say anything, or they don't actually share why it's live to them, why it means so much to them. I'm gonna say something, right? I don't know how you guys are gonna feel about this, but I'm being transparent. The other day, I was on TikTok in the middle of the night, and I saw some guy literally like doing a market stall on TikTok. Right now, I'm new to the black platform, right? I don't know the black platform like that. I'm new to it, okay? So because I'm new to it, it was like a surprise to me. Like this guy's just doing an auction, selling clothes. He's got a rack of clothes behind him and he's just selling clothes. And guess what? People are buying the clothes. They're literally buying his clothes and, excuse me guys, they're literally buying his clothes on the live. And I'm like, wow, like, this is interesting. Like people actually buy clothes over the social media internet, just like this. And you know what it made me realize? It made me realize that you may be saying to yourself, oh, I want to do this, I want to get here, I want to be there. But there's people out there doing it. Like no matter what it looks like, there's people doing stuff. There's people doing all manner of stuff. Sometimes I see some stuff on the internet and I'm like, I don't know how my children are going to navigate in the future because people are moving crazy out here. People are jumping on the internet and literally doing crazy stuff. So how much more important is it for people who actually have substance and value to jump online and add that value to the world, okay? Now it's easy for us not to do it. Why? Because we don't need to do it. Like we can do what we're doing. I had a jiu-jitsu class today. We can live our life and never have to go online and never have to stream and never have to add value. But I just think that would be a bit of a selfish life, you know? When you understand what you've been through, you understand there's someone else who might still be going through that thing. So I know what I've been through. So that's why I do what I do. So let's go. All right. Talia, thank you ever so much for your question. Talia, you said speed. I want you to just elaborate on that for me, please. What do you mean? Just elaborate a little bit more. Let me know what you mean. I think I've got a little inclination, but let me know what you mean. All right, she says, oh my God, let's go. All right. All right, let's go. So Triple MG, which is PJ. PJ says, do you know what? They don't want to spread their business too much, but they have a cleaning business. Thank you for sharing. PJ, what you have to understand is all transformation comes from transparency, okay? It's because if you were listening in the session, I don't know if you were there when we started this part, but it's because the caterpillar commits to going into the cocoon that the caterpillar is able to be fully transparent and thus as a result receive the transformation. So if you have a challenge being transparent online, I don't blame you because this is the internet. Who like you don't know who else is watching, right? The young people talk about the ops. The ops could be watching. The ops could be watching, right? Like whatever, right? I don't know what that means. But the point is, if you have a challenge being online on social media and being transparent, this is why you form a shell. This is why you go into a private coaching environment or a private room. This is why you buy a book. This is why you buy a course. Because when you buy a book, I'll give you an example, right? If I buy a book, okay, when I buy a book, guess what? I start getting into that book I'm not out there afraid to be transparent. In here, I'll be very transparent. I'll write my notes. I'll have my post-its and so forth. All right. So hopefully that helps. Okay. Hopefully that helps. All right. Talia, I see you. That's not what I thought you were saying, but thank you for sharing. That clarity is helpful. Talia says things are moving and changing speedily. That's good then. That means we're doing something good here. I love that. All right. So PJ says, but in terms of cash flow, they don't work outside of that. They don't work outside of that. Okay, cool. That's fine. Like, I coach business owners. I coach high-level business owners to move beyond 6 figures a year in their income generation. So it's cool. Like, we can help you with your cleaning business, or we can help you with other stuff as well, but it's all good. Tyler says ROI. ROI, let's go. Thank you ever so much. And we're good. That's all the questions. I got through the questions. That is absolutely amazing. All right, guys, it only took us, I think, 12 minutes. 12 minutes when the timer went up, but it only took us about 12 minutes to get through all of the questions, but all of the questions are answered. All right, guys, here, do something for me right now, please. I'd love everyone to share a key takeaway. What's one thing you took away from today's session? One thing you heard that stood out to you, that literally spoke to you? One thing that you heard today and you were like, wow, Samuel, that was strong. I needed that. Okay. If there was a value bomb that you received in today's live, please feel free to share it inside of the chat. This is just one of the ways you guys give back. It's the way that you say, you know what, this actually was valuable to me. Here, let me share something I learned. And that also allows other people inside of the live to recognize that this is a learning environment. This ain't an environment for trolls. This ain't an environment for people who are lazy daisies. This is an environment for high-level people that want to actually do something productive with their life. So feel free, throw in your key takeaway, one thing you took away, one thing you learned, one thing that stood out to you. Again, I must say, for those of you who gave donations, badges, all of that stuff, whatever platform you're on, guys, a great big thank you to you. I appreciate you, because that's your way of showing love. Like, the Bible literally says that you give and it will be given unto you, but you don't give for no reason. You give because, you know, you feel as though, wow, this is touching me. So I appreciate that. All right, let's go. Talia's in first. Talia says, let me put this book back up here. Talia says, the power to bring a positive change is with me and within me. I love that. That is such a powerful key takeaway. And my prayer for you, Talia, is that you're able to utilize what was shared with you today to change your future for the better for the rest of your days. That's my prayer for you, in the mighty and matchless name of Jesus, Yeshua, the King. Let's go. Amen. All right, cool. Guys, anyone else, what is your key takeaway? What is your key takeaway? What is your key takeaway? What is your key takeaway from today in this live? Let me know, let me know, let me know. Before I go, before I go, before I go. It looks like no, it looks like no, it looks like no. So with that, let me say, I'll see y'all. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure adding value to you. I pray you guys got tons of value. Feel free, if you need help from me, to direct message me on whatever platform you're on. You can catch me on the black platform, direct messages. You can catch me on the purple and orange platform with direct messages. You can not catch me on the red platform with direct messages, but you can catch all the replays there. And you can catch me on the blue platform with direct messages. Me or a member of my team will holler back at you. With that being said, guys, good day. God bless. Stay blessed. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the top and not from the top. Let's go, because small keys open up big doors. See you on the next one. Peace.